Hey there, my name is Alonda Carter and I am the Recovering Hunbot. I create anti-MLM, that's anti-multi-level marketing videos. And I do some true crime, and I also dip into white collar crime, specifically really looking at fraud. Have you heard? Beachbody is adding preferred customers to the mix. In the past, coaches would say, oh, you could be a preferred customer. All you need to do is sign up here. And they knew that whoever that was wasn't going to work the business. Hence, they're a discount coach and a VIP type person is what they were told. So this is not something new. But Beachbody is now repackaging that entire concept since people have been doing it anyway. In my opinion, I just kind of think that Beachbody is attempting, by adding in preferred customer, to try to make it look as if retail sales even exist. Because let's be honest, it's the coach network that buys all the products, but they're trying to deflect all of that, is what I'm thinking. What do you think? Overall, no matter how they try to hide it, I can never see 70 to 80% of sales coming from, retail, even if you do consider preferred customers. So today we're going to look at their training, and I'm going to give you my response along the way. So let's go ahead and get to it.
Hey there, coaches. So we've got a quick training video here that we're going to talk about the upcoming launch of the new preferred customer program. I really think this is something that all of you should be very, very excited about, as it's going to make it easier for you as a coach than ever to help more people and really offer them a great customer experience. So we've created a few simple training videos here to help you get to know details or parts of the preferred customer program as we get ready for it to launch in mid-May of this year. Depending upon when you're watching these training videos, the information might be a little out of date, so make sure you always check on FAQ 4066 for English for the most up-to-date information, and you can see the same FAQs listed in Spanish and French on the screen there. So let's jump right into this. Let's start with the basics. What is the preferred customer program? Well, to put it simply, it's a monthly membership for customers that gives them exclusive benefits not available to other customers. To access these benefits, preferred customers will pay a monthly membership fee of $15.95, or the different denominations for our Canada, UK, and French markets are shown on the screen there. What are the benefits they get? For that monthly membership, what are the perks, the benefits that they get? Well, they get the same discount that coaches get on Beachbody products. They'll also be able to have access to the early purchasing window for launches like coaches, and they'll actually enroll with the coach and occupy a position in the coach's organization, which has a lot of potential benefits for them, and we'll talk about those in some later training videos here. Now, a cool thing is preferred customers do not have to provide a tax ID number like a social security number when they enroll, and they don't have any product purchase requirements either. All right, so there are some great benefits for preferred customers. And with all these benefits in mind, it's easy to see that there are a lot of people who would be a great fit for the preferred customer program. Think about customers you have who purchase from you regularly but don't want to build a coaching business, or maybe coaches, people who want to be part of a community and also want to have the best possible price on Beachbody products. That's another good group. Also think about people who are interested in Team Beachbody but maybe not ready to make the coaching commitment yet. You can think about your existing coaches, maybe people that are existing coaches or enrolled as a coach and really are just interested in the discount. A better fit for them might be a preferred customer. And also you can think about your coaches who've enrolled who maybe are no longer interested in doing the business but want to remain part of the community and engaged in doing things. The preferred customer might be a better fit for them. There are so many people that who are going to absolutely love this program. All right. Now, maybe you're wondering at this point, after you've heard a lot of these things, why are we even introducing this preferred customer program? Well, we know that many customers enroll as coaches in order to receive a product discount, but they have no immediate plans to actively grow a coaching business. The preferred customer program has been created to better serve these customers. They will be able to more easily enroll by not having to provide a tax ID, and they're not going to receive any more coach-related communications from the company. They'll simply have access to what they want, a product discount, plus the other perks that come with their membership. We also know that coaches trying to build their business are concerned about their rank advancement requirements. The great news is that preferred customers can count towards rank requirements. Now, this is a huge benefit for every coach to help their customers have the best experience possible without feeling like they're sacrificing any progress toward their own rank goal. So if you have people currently enrolled as a coach who would be better suited as a preferred customer, they're actually going to be able to reclassify to a preferred customer right in their own My Account settings on the Team Beachbody page, on their Team Beachbody page, when the program launches in mid-May, and really giving them the customer experience that they're looking for. All right. So with all that in mind, let's keep going on a few pieces here to get to know the program a little bit better. What makes a preferred customer different than a coach? A lot of the benefits seem like they're the same, but what makes it different? Well, let's talk about that. For starters, only coaches can sell products and enroll customers, preferred customers, and coaches. That means that only coaches participate in the Team Beachbody compensation and recognition programs. Preferred customers are loyal customers, not people who are looking to actively build a coaching business and gain access to the rewards for doing so. And like I just mentioned, preferred customers also don't need to provide that tax ID and enrollment because they aren't eligible to earn income, but coaches are, so coaches still have to provide that tax ID information. And only coaches are eligible for the military or nonprofit waiver for their monthly business service fees. There is no waiver that's like this, that exists like this in place for preferred customers, at least right now. So there is a difference between preferred customers and coaches for sure, but for a lot of people, a preferred customer membership will be the best fit for them, at least initially. And the good news is that a preferred customer can upgrade to a coach at any time. You're going to see more of that as we talk through these pieces. Now, speaking of all that, I mentioned earlier that a preferred customer takes a spot in the coach's binary organization structure. They do this when they enroll. The cool thing is that if they decide to become a coach, they will remain in the same spot with the same ID number. So in other words, they'll enroll as a preferred customer, they'll get a spot in the coach's organization, and if they decide to become a coach, they'll stay in that exact same spot with the exact same ID number. Now, I really think that coaches, what you're going to find is that preferred customer will become almost a stepping stone for a lot of people to coaching. And the good news is that when a preferred customer is ready to coach, they will already be right in the organization. They may even have some volume that's been placed underneath them in the binary waiting for them to access when they qualify for the team cycle bonus, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of really cool incentives for them, or possibilities for them. So wrapping up here, just as a quick review here, this is an overview of the things we've talked about and of the program. It's a program for customers. There's a monthly membership fee of $15.95, okay, or depending where you're at in Canada and UK or France, it might be a little bit different, but we showed on the screen there. They get the same discount as coaches on products, plus other perks like early access to program launches. They occupy a position in the coach's binary structure. They can count towards their coach's rank requirements, which we'll talk about in a later training. And they can upgrade to a coach when the person with the person who sponsored them as a preferred customer at any time. And we are so excited for the launch of this program. We're super excited to be able to help you with this. So make sure you check out all the other training videos to learn more about the program as we go forward. Thank y'all.
Allegedly, it is going to be easier to help more people because there's this preferred customer thing going on. It is a monthly membership. They are paying $15.95 just to get the discount. That is $191.40 a year. Now, I know there are other discount things, say like at Sam's or at Costco. Generally, it's about, what, 50, 60 bucks a year to do that, and you get the whole stinking store. But to be a preferred customer of Beachbody, because you get that big discount, that 25% discount, I'm really doubting that there's that many people that are going to rush to want to be preferred customers. I really do think that this is more of, a shell game of Beachbody, of like, oh, well, if you have someone who is really not working the business, maybe a better fit for them is the preferred customer, but they can still say, bleh, got tongue-tied. They can still stay in your genealogy and you don't have to worry about that. And they can flip the switch and, be active again as a coach. I really just don't see this being anything other than, again, smoke and mirrors. Because the reality is there's not a lot of people outside of Beachbody that are all about the Beachbody products. It's really the people who are trying to work the business. And even those people who are not being, quote, successful and having sales and stuff, they still often consider themselves as, being active, and they want to be able to, get that volume and all of that. Now, as a preferred customer, they're going to be able to have that volume collect or whatever underneath them, and then, flip that switch. That's what I'm trying to say. Turn it all back on. Now, I find it interesting that these preferred customers can count as rank advancement. I'm really wondering, how is this going to impact the income disclosure statement? Because we don't know what that looks like, because they haven't updated it since last year. So just wondering what is really the motive here. I find it difficult to believe that they just want people to have a better customer experience. What are your thoughts?
Hey there, coaches. Hey, in this video, we're going to take a quick look at what is the same and what is different about preferred customers and coaches. We're doing this because it will really help you have a better understanding of the preferred customer program, because a lot of what you're already familiar with in terms of coaches and how coach purchases are treated in our systems and our programs is the same for preferred customers. So as we start out with all these videos, depending upon when you're watching it, some of the information might be outdated. So make sure you check out the FAQ to get the most up-to-date information. So let's jump right in. I'm going to get right to this here. As you know, as you get to know more about the preferred customer program, you're going to notice that there are a lot of similarities between someone who is a preferred customer in your organization and someone who is a coach in your organization. So let's go over some of the main similarities real quick, just so you can see how close they are in a lot of ways in terms of how the system treats them for your business. First, both are placed in the binary structure. Okay. Both can count towards rank qualification. Both get the same discount on products. Both get the same exclusive early buying window for launches. Both must complete a 6-month wait between enrollments if they want to change sponsors. Both generate volume from their purchases, but not commissions to their sponsor because they have the discount, same as the coach. Both follow the same rules for generating Success Club points for their purchases for their sponsor. So if you're wondering that, same rules. Both follow the same rules for generating fast start bonuses and challenge pack bonuses from their purchases for their sponsor. And PV from their purchases does not count towards their sponsor's PV requirement. So you can see there's a lot of similarities, okay? A lot of similarities, and understanding those things will, again, help you understand the program. But now let's look at some of the differences. First, only coaches participate in the Team Beachbody Compensation and Recognition Program. Preferred customers don't earn income, and there's no recognition program for preferred customers because they're customers. Only coaches can sell products and enroll people. Only coaches have access to the Coach Online Office. Only coaches are eligible for the military or nonprofit waiver. Only coaches receive coach-related communication from Team Beachbody. Only coaches are required to provide a valid Social Security or tax ID number during their enrollment. Coaches pay a monthly business service fee, and preferred customers pay a monthly membership fee. All right, well, it's the same amount. It's called something very different. So those are some of the key differences. Now, what I want to do real quick is call out, maybe go into a little bit more detail of some of these things just to make sure that you understand them. All right. Let's start with the 6-month rule. Like coaches, a preferred customer agrees at enrollment that they'll cancel and wait 6 months if they want to enroll with another coach as their sponsor. Now, a retail customer, someone who's a customer but not a preferred customer, does not have this waiting period, but a preferred customer does. But unlike a retail customer, a preferred customer occupies a spot in the coach's binary organization structure. Also, preferred customers will typically be more loyal and connected to their coach. And so we have this rule in place to protect this relationship, as well as provide some safeguards to the coach's organizational structure because they're in the binary structure. The 6-month rule is going to be applied, again, just to be really clear, to preferred customers just in the same way as it is applied to coaches. If a preferred customer cancels and wants to re-enroll before the 6-month period has elapsed, they'll be able to enroll back with their previous sponsor. They don't have to wait 6 months, but if they want to change, they have to wait the 6 months. All right. Oops, wrong way. Let's keep going here. Let's now talk about volume commissions. I want to give a little bit more detail on how a preferred customer's purchases are treated in terms of volume and commissions for the coach. To keep it simple, just remember that your preferred customer purchases are treated the same way as your coach's purchases are treated. They don't pay you commissions because they're getting the price discount, but they do generate volume. The PV from their purchases do not count towards their sponsors for the sponsor's activity status. Their purchases follow, again, the same rules for Success Club points. I mentioned that before, and the Fast Start bonus and Challenge Pack bonuses as well as coaches do. So preferred customers, coaches, again, the same in that regard as well, like we talked about. So when it comes to volume and commissions from preferred customer purchases, just think it's the exact same way as what you already know about how it works for coaches. And the last thing from the list that I want to call out real quick is that preferred customers don't enroll or sell Beachbody products. This means that a preferred customer doesn't build a downline. There are no ranks for preferred customers. They don't earn income. These are all benefits reserved for coaches. Now, because a preferred customer takes a position in the coach's binary organization structure, it is possible that other coaches and preferred customers might be placed under them as they're enrolled by the sponsoring coach or other upline coaches. And it's important to understand how placement works here. We have a great training on it in the coach office. You can find it under the training tab and then click on compensation program and you can find it there. But for now, just know that these coaches or preferred customers that are placed under the preferred customer are not sponsored by them, but the volume from those purchases would be available to the preferred customer for them to use as part of their team cycle bonus if they ever decide to become a coach and then qualify to earn this bonus. Now, one more quick thing before we wrap. I just want to add a bit more detail on, and what I want to talk about real quick is just how preferred customers can count towards the requirement for a coach's rank. Now, here again, coaches and preferred customers are the same. A preferred customer can count towards a coach's rank as long as they're an active preferred customer. A preferred customer is considered active if they have at least 50 PV from their purchases in the previous 5 bonus weeks. This is the exact same thing as this for someone at the coach rank. And we'll get into more details on this in a different training video where we talk about this, but I just wanted to make sure that we called that out here and clarified that just so that you know. Now, understanding how preferred customers and coaches are the same and how they're different is going to help you a lot as you learn more about the preferred customer program.
Alrighty dighty. So, just so much to talk about when it comes to this jank, because to me it is some jank. So you're told that it's much the same as being a coach because they're placed in the binary structure and they get the same 25% discount that a coach does, but does not get a commission because they're getting the discount. However, they will, count towards that volume. And I've talked about the team cycle bonus before, so that volume will count. And also for this to count towards rank advancement, if you have preferred customers, those preferred customers need to be active. So they need that minimum 50 PV, just like a coach does, to be active. And they're going to have to be, paying that monthly fee because that's part of the preferred customer thing. Also, I found this interesting that the 6-month rule applies too. So you can't just cut out and go get underneath another coach. You have to wait 6 months. So this is allegedly to instill some sort of loyalty.
All right, coaches, so let's take a quick look at the 3 ways that someone could enroll as a preferred customer. I know a lot of you have had that question. Now, as we get going here again, I don't know when you're watching this video, so I always want to call out and make sure you check out the FAQ for the most up-to-date information. But let's jump right into this. So they're actually really simple, as you'd expect. But the first way for someone to enroll as a preferred customer is to have their coach send them a share cart order. Now, when the preferred customer program launches in mid-May of 2021, you're going to notice a simple update has been made to that first screen that comes up when you open up share a cart. And that is that there's going to be a preferred customer option right there in the middle, right? So you'll know you have customer, preferred customer, and coach as options. So if you have a current customer or a new customer, whatever, and they want to enroll as a preferred customer, all you need to do is fill out their information and select preferred customer as you create their order in share a cart. And when they complete the order that you sent them, their preferred customer membership will all be created for them and set up as part of the checkout process. And as you select preferred customer, all the pricing that you'll see as you build their share a cart order will reflect their preferred customer discount. So that's the first way. Pretty simple, right? Let's look at the second way. Now, in the second way, it would be someone who is someone who enrolls themselves as a preferred customer through teambeachbody.com. This could be a new customer who you send to your Team Beachbody website, or it could be an existing customer of yours who already has an account on teambeachbody.com that they've set up. Let's look how you do this, okay? When they go to our website, now I got to apologize in advance. These screenshots, these are just mock-ups. Our creative team is very upset that we're using these because they want to show you the pretty ones, but this is for training purposes. So that's why the big draft is across there. So you'll know that it's just for training purposes. But what it will happen, what I wanted you to see here, is when they go to the teambeachbody.com website, they'll see now a preferred customer tab at the top of the page, a link there that they can kind of click on. And going to that tab is going to give them more information about the preferred customer program. And at the bottom of that page, what they're going to find is a button where they'll be able to add a preferred customer membership to their cart. And so in order to become a preferred customer, they need to add that button to their cart and then finalize the checkout process where their account will be, their membership will be kind of completed with all the necessary information. They can either, again, just check out right from this screen and finish setting up their membership, or they can continue shopping, and since the preferred customer membership is added in their cart, all the pricing that they'll see will reflect the discount they get as a preferred customer. So that's the second way. They can just go to teambeachbody.com and enroll themselves as a preferred customer. The third option is for people who are currently coaches. When the preferred customer program launches in mid-May, a coach will be able to go to the My Account section of their teambeachbody.com website. So they click on their name and then just go to My Account. And they can actually elect to reclassify themselves, reclassify their account to a preferred customer account just right from there as well. Now, this is a great option really for people maybe that you have who enrolled as coaches simply for the discount, or maybe coaches who are no longer actively coaching but continue to be engaged in the community and be great customers. This is just a way for them to be able to, on their own, reclassify their own account as a preferred customer and be able to start, maybe stop getting coach-related communications and emails and have a little bit better customer experience. So those are the three ways on how to do that. Now, there's one point that I mentioned here. I talked about coaches reclassifying as preferred customers. I want to call something out real quick, and we'll get into more detail in it in another training that actually is called reclassification. But I do want to call this out just because I do think we'll have maybe some. I want to make sure if you're just watching this video that you understand it as well. Okay. In the beginning, starting in August of this year, we're going to start reviewing the activity of all coach accounts and requiring coaches to have met what we're calling a minimum activity requirement. And having met that minimum activity requirement in the previous 6 months in order to remain a coach. And if they haven't met that requirement, then their account will be automatically reclassified as a preferred customer. It will indicate to us that they're no longer actively coaching, and they'll have a better experience or be better suited as a preferred customer. So just in case this is the first time you're hearing about this, let me just go into a little bit more detail. The minimum coach activity requirement is either to have enrolled a new coach or preferred customer, have an enrollment once every 6 months, or to have one of your customers, preferred customer, whoever, make a purchase that has volume in every 6 months. So every 6 months, I either have to have a new enrollment of a coach or preferred customer, or have one of my customers or preferred customers make a purchase that has volume. That's not really difficult. There's not a lot to it. It's once every 6 months, but it just indicates to us that you're still actively coaching and you're still at least engaged somewhat in your business, even for coaches that are part-time and maybe not doing it full-time or whatever, but it just gives them the opportunity to be able to show that. And if not, if for some reason they don't meet that requirement, what happens? Well, the system then will see that and will automatically reclassify their account to preferred customer. Since preferred customers don't have downline organizations, we talked about that before, they don't enroll, they don't earn income. Any sponsorships will roll up to their sponsor if that happens. Just be really clear about this, and they will no longer earn commissions. Okay. However, as long as they don't cancel their account, they can re-enroll as a coach at any time with their same sponsor and continue to have the same spot in the binary organization of their sponsor as well. So maybe they haven't been actively coaching, their account gets reclassified as a preferred customer, and then 8 months later or whatever, something happens, or I don't know when, they decide to become a coach again, they can reactivate or they can re-enroll again as a coach, and they'll remain in the same spot in the coach's organization. And so we'll cover this in more detail in one of the other preferred customer trainings. It's called reclassification, but I just want to call that out here as well. So the big takeaway, though, from this training is that there are 3 ways that someone can enroll a preferred customer. The coach can send them a share cart order with a preferred membership included, preferred customer membership, included. Someone can go to the teambeachbody.com website and add the membership to their cart and check out there to create their own membership, to set it up. Or they can, if someone is already enrolled as a coach, they can go into the My Account section of the teambeachbody.com, their website there, and reclassify their own account to a preferred customer. So a lot of information in this one, but really important stuff, and now you've got it.
And what I found to be the most interesting is the minimum activity requirement, which kicks in every 6 months. So you either have to enroll a coach or enroll a preferred customer, or that preferred customer has to have a volume purchase, meaning, like Shakeology or something that has those volume points attached to it. One of the things I'm kind of wondering is if any dark patterns are being used for this whole changing people over to a preferred customer, or when somebody is a coach and then they get shifted down to preferred customer. If you don't know what a dark pattern is, my husband brought this up to me, I think yesterday. It is when a website will, through user experience, the user interface, it's leading you to behave in a particular way that they want you to, not that you necessarily want to. And I'll give you an example. For example, my husband got, Dollar Shave. He has not been able to cancel that because there is like no one to call, because he's been calling them and it's like, well, there's no one here because of COVID. Meanwhile, we keep on paying like that $4 per month, which is not a lot of money. And, that's one way that a company can, make some bucks, is like making it a little bit convoluted for you to be able to get out of, whatever agreement you entered. So I'm just thinking out loud. How is it going to be like really clear, or is it going to be some kind of convoluted type thing? And so you're going to end up staying as a preferred customer, even if you don't want to be one anymore. I'm just kind of wondering, like, will this be a part of it? And I don't know. I'm not saying that there is. I'm not saying that there isn't, but I'm saying you never know with these things. I think that there could be a possibility.
Hey there, coaches. So in this video, we're going to talk about how the coach compensation and recognition programs work with preferred customers. A lot of this information just up front can be found in other training videos. There's some new pieces of information you need to be aware of, but we just wanted to bring all of it into one training video to make it easier for you to find if you're looking for information or trying to help others on your team learn about preferred customers. Again, I always start out with a shout out to refer you to the FAQ. Depending upon how and when you're watching this, some of the information may have changed, but the information in the FAQ will always be up to date. All right, so let's jump into it. Right off the bat, start by talking about how preferred customers and their purchases will function within the coach compensation plan. Of course, preferred customers, as we've talked about, they don't earn income themselves, but their purchases do generate bonuses and volume for their sponsor and their upline coaches, which is what you'd expect, right? And so it's just important that we understand how all this works. The good news is, as with a lot of things that happen with preferred customer, the purchases made by preferred customers in our compensation plan are treated the same way as purchases made by coaches. So if you understand how coach purchases pay you as a coach, then you'll understand how preferred customer purchases do as well. But just in case, we're going to review it here. A couple things I just want to call out, okay? In the compensation program, purchases made by a preferred customer will pay bonuses and volume, just like they're done, just like when a coach makes the purchases. So for example, when a preferred customer buys a challenge pack or gets a BOD membership, it'll pay that challenge pack bonus or a subscription commission to the sponsor, as well as generate team volume that's used in the team cycle bonus calculation. When a preferred customer purchases a Beachbody product, like maybe Energize or Recover or Collagen, it doesn't pay a commission to the sponsor because they're buying at the same price as the coach, but it does still generate that team volume used for the team cycle bonus. And again, just think about like the commissions, bonuses, volume, those things from preferred customer purchases are treated just the same way as coach purchases. That'll help you understand that. I do want to also call it something else from the compensation program standpoint, that preferred customers, again, as a reminder, do take a position in the binary structure for coach. And so the position that they're given when they enroll is going to follow the placement rules, the preferred placement rules that you've got set up for your coach enrollments in the coach office. All right, so they'll follow the exact same rules. And if you're not sure what those are, it's just where coaches get placed or coaches and preferred customers will get placed as you enroll them into your binary organization. And by default, your placement rules are set to what is typically the most optimal setting for most coaches, but you can change that default setup at any time in the coach office. However, and please listen to me on this one, I wouldn't go messing around with that setting unless you've spoken with your sponsor coach or someone in your upline who is familiar with what it is and how it works to make sure it's the right thing for you to do. The preferred customers, when it comes to placement, will also follow the same placement change rules that apply to coaches. For example, both coaches and preferred customers would have 10 days from their enrollment date to switch sponsors. And just to make sure we're not confused on this, it's from the first time that they've enrolled. So if you have someone who enrolled as a preferred customer and then went to later on to upgrade to coach, if more than 10 days had transpired from when they enrolled as a preferred customer, they're outside of that 10-day window, even though they're enrolling as a coach for the first time, okay? Their 10-day window will have expired. All right. Now, other thing with compensation plans, I want to touch on active status. Purchases made by a coach's preferred customers do not count towards the coach's PV requirement for their active status qualification. Okay, so this is the same way it is for coaches who how their personally sponsored coaches don't count towards the PV requirement. It's the exact same. All right. This also means, okay, just to clarify this confusion, this also means that orders made by a preferred customer aren't eligible for the active status guarantee, if you know what that is, since they don't count towards a coach's PV in the exact same way that coach purchases aren't eligible for the active status guarantee either. However, just to make sure you know, purchases made by retail customers will continue to count towards a coach's PV, and they are still eligible for active status guarantee like they currently are. Okay. All right, so that's really the main things of the coach compensation program. I mean, think about it. It's very similar, very familiar to preferred customer purchases are treated the exact same way as coach purchases are. Placed in the binary, all of those pieces, they're all the same. All right. Now let's look at the recognition programs and preferred customers. Again, the simplicity of it is it's counted exactly the same way as coaches have been for your business in these programs. So when it comes, for example, to earning Success Club points, purchases made by preferred customers follow the same rules that apply to purchases made by coaches. When it comes to rank advancements, active preferred customers count towards a coach's rank just like active coaches do. For example, a coach, to qualify as Emerald, they need to have 50 PV and have a personally sponsored active coach or active preferred customer on their right and left leg. To qualify as Diamond, they'd have to have 100 PV, right? And an active Emerald on their right and left leg, and 3 additional personally sponsored active coaches or active preferred customers in each leg. All right, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Also, anyone who upgrades from a preferred customer to a coach is considered a new coach. So if you have someone that was a preferred customer and they upgraded coach, they're considered a new coach, even though their enrollment date will be with their original preferred customer date. This is really important for the Success Starter program, just because that's when their Success Starter clock would start. And this actually includes anyone who maybe was originally qualified or enrolled as a coach, reclassified to a preferred customer, and then re-enrolled as a coach. They'd be considered a new coach for the Success Starter program. That's pretty cool, pretty exciting. So if you've had maybe a group of people who enrolled as coaches just for the discount, weren't really building the business, they become preferred customers for a while, and then all of a sudden they decide that they want to coach again, they can enroll as a coach, and bam, they're able to participate in all the benefits of the Success Starter program if they're able to qualify for that. It's pretty cool. All right, the last thing, and this is about for the Road to Elite. So sometimes with a lot of things Road to Elite, there's a lot of information here, so I'll try to keep this as simple as possible for you, but I do want to mention, I do think we need to call this out from our recognition program, as it's such a key component of what we do here. Preferred customers purchases can help a coach earn leadership points in the Road to Elite program. So let's talk about that, right? Preferred customer purchases generate TV, volume, which we've talked about, which again will count towards that weak leg volume qualification requirement in the Road to Elite. Volume from preferred customer purchases are also included in the calculation of points from the APV category. And again, if you don't know what that is, just look at the Road to Elite training on the Champions page, or ask your upline coach. But it basically just measures purchases from newly enrolled coaches and customers. And as we've discussed, the preferred customer purchases can help their sponsoring coach qualify for Success Club, generate Success Club points, which will again also impact their ability to earn points in the Road to Elite program. All right. One last thing just to mention before we wrap up here. Remember that if a PC upgrades to a coach, they're considered a new coach, and their activity can generate points in the Road to Elite program. Okay. However, if a coach, if someone was a coach, they reclassified to a PC and then upgraded back to a coach, their purchases, their activity will only generate points in the Road to Elite program if they were a preferred customer for at least 6 months. So there's that little caveat. If I had a coach that went coach, reclassified to a preferred customer, then back to a coach, they needed to be at least a preferred customer for at least 6 months in order for them to count towards your Road to Elite or leadership points in the Road to Elite program when they upgrade to coaching again. All right. So very, very similar again, the recognition compensation programs between coaches and preferred customers. Hopefully this was helpful to you, and we'll see you in the next training video. Bye now.
I really see this whole preferred customer thing as being a holding pattern for people to get them to go back into being a coach again, take advantage of that wonderful opportunity to earn that income. Big eye rolls here. I found it interesting that you can be a coach who then became a preferred customer, and now you're a coach again, but you can be eligible for the Success Starter. So that would be something that would be encouraging, because I will say, as someone who was a coach for a long time, I never hit all the stuff in Success Starter. But that could be giving someone the ability to think, well, maybe I can do it this time. I think it's a way to be able to get people to stay in the mindset longer that this opportunity actually will give them something. When you have a preferred customer, it does generate volume, those volume points that I've talked about, which then will make them eligible to receive team cycle bonus. But their purchases don't count towards the active status that a coach needs, because what you can do, like if you don't make any purchases that month, but the people underneath you on your team, the coaches do, then that can count towards your volume that you need, the required 50-point volumes that you need in order to be, active. But that's not the case as a preferred customer.
All right, coaches, so let's take a quick look at the minimum coach activity requirement and also the coach to preferred customer reclassification process. These are two important parts to understand as we look at the preferred customer program. As with all of these trainings, make sure you check out the FAQ for the most up-to-date information, as I'm not sure when you're going to be watching it, and some of this information might get out of date, but the FAQ will always be up to date for you. All right, so let's jump right in here right quick and talk about the minimum coach activity requirement. And again, I've talked about this in other trainings, but I want to really, again, slow down just a little bit here and get into some of the details to make sure you understand it. It's not complex. It's really not that hard. But again, we don't want any coach to be unaware of what it is. So what is it? Well, every 6 months, a coach needs to meet a minimum level of activity in their business in order to maintain their account at the coach level. The requirement, this minimum activity requirement, is really simple. It's just enroll a new coach or preferred customer, or have one of your customers or preferred customers make a purchase that generates PV. And again, you have to have that happen once every 6 months. So again, not a huge requirement, not super difficult to understand, but it is an important one. Now, the thing we want to get into in these next couple slides is that element of the every 6 months part of this, right? How it'll be happen twice a year, a coach will need to fulfill this requirement. Well, when? When does that mean? How does that work for coaches? And we're trying to be fair here, make sure that every coach has at least 6 months between times when we look at their business. So let's look at this real quick here. And now this table might look a little confusing, but let me walk you through it. Because it's a 6-month requirement, okay, we do it twice a year, our system will do an automatic evaluation of every coach account twice a year. Now, when exactly this evaluation will happen depends on the month that you enrolled. Now, as the table shows on the left-hand side there, if you enrolled in the month of January or July, your business will be evaluated to see if it has met the minimum activity requirement every February and then August. Okay, so those are the 2 times a year when your business will be evaluated if you enrolled in January or July. Just another example, if you enrolled in the month of February or August, right underneath that, the January, July. Okay, if you enrolled in those months, your business will be evaluated. Go over to the right-hand columns for that minimum activity requirement in March or September. And this is so on, and so you can see how that would work. Regardless, you can look at, depending on your sign-up month, the month that you enrolled, you can now see when your evaluation months will be. Now, evaluation, that word can maybe seem a little intimidating, but really all that happens is that our system just looks back at the previous 6 months to verify that you've met the coach activity requirement. And for some reason, if a coach's business is found to not have met the minimum activity requirement in the previous 6 months, the coach account would be then immediately reclassified to a preferred customer account by our system in that same month that it was evaluated. So you see all of that stuff. Now, a couple things again to kind of help you maybe understand this, and important to understand it, but also not let it get too I guess, worrisome for you, other than just what it is. The likelihood that a reclassification will happen without the coach realizing really is small, in my opinion. Consider that each coach can see if they've met the requirement for the minimum activity status at any time in their coach office during those 6 months. And they'll also be able to see in the coach office when their next evaluation date is scheduled to be. So again, it's always there. They'll always be able to see it. Also, if for some reason a coach hasn't met the requirement and is nearing that date of when their business will be evaluated, our system will start sending them notifications directly, email notifications directly to them, as well as copying their sponsor. In fact, that first notification email will go out 30 days before that evaluation date, then another one a week before, and then one last one right before it actually happens, right before any reclassification were to happen, so that the coach can be notified. All right, and so again, the reclassification, we want to understand what the minimum activity requirement is, and then we want to understand kind of the 6-month period. So we want to make sure we understand this table right here. And again, if this table is intimidating, you just go into your coach office. You can see it right in there. You'll be able to see your qualification, your evaluation dates are in there, so there won't be any surprises that are there. We need to know that while the requirements are low, if in some reason, some case, a coach hasn't met them and they're nearing the date when their business could be reclassified to a preferred customer, that they will be notified multiple times, as well as their sponsors. So it shouldn't be a surprise to them, and they can take action. Now, how we're going to roll this out, I want to take the remainder of this training, the next few minutes, just to talk about how we're going to roll this out. Okay, how we're going to introduce this, trying to again be very fair and be very clear in how the launch will happen. The first date that you need to know is August 5th, 2021. So August 5th of this year. Now, on this day, all coaches who enrolled in January 2021 or before, okay, so the majority of you watching this training, you're going to be part of an initial evaluation group. What will happen is the system will look at the previous 6 months. So in August, the system will look at the previous 6 months, basically from February through July. And any coach in this group, okay, of people who enrolled in January 2021 and before, who at some point during that time had not met their minimum activity requirement, will have their coach account reclassified as a preferred customer. Now, coaches who were part of this evaluation, this first evaluation that will happen in August, will then follow the same evaluation months shown in the table on the previous slide, unless their next scheduled evaluation date is going to happen before they've had 6 months between, in which case they'll skip their next evaluation period and then just pick up with their next one and kind of keep going from there. We're just doing that to make sure everyone has at least 6 months between when their businesses are evaluated for reclassification. All right, so let's take just a second here. I know that you're maybe looking at this and going, Kim, whoa, like that's a lot. There's dates, there's boxes, there's all kinds of stuff. And maybe you're even a little bit concerned about this concept, this idea of potentially having a business be reclassified. Let me just talk to that for just a second. First, I think it's important to know, you need to know about this for sure. It's an important thing to know, and that's why we're training on it. But I would say that the dates and all those things, I wouldn't get too stressed out about those pieces, because you can always look at the FAQ to review it. You can always see the evaluation dates and all that information in your coach office at any time. So if that table and these dates are kind of confusing to you or intimidating, don't worry about it. You'll see it in your coach office before too long when that is. All right. And if it helps, I just want you to know that our analysis shows that the majority of coaches who are earning a check from us have already meet this activity requirement. And so, I mean, the chances are if you're earning a check and you're, active with your business, then you're going to be just fine. There's nothing really to worry about as long as you keep doing what you've been doing. All right. Now, having said that, though, I do need to make sure that I'm clear about what happens if a coach doesn't meet that requirement. And again, this is where reclassification comes in, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means the account gets reclassified from a coach account to a preferred customer account. So again, if the coach doesn't meet those minimum activity requirements in those 6-month increments, their account will be automatically reclassified to preferred customer. When that happens, they stay in the same position of the binary organization, so they don't get removed. They're not canceled. Okay, and they can re-enroll as a coach at any time, keeping their same ID number with their same sponsor. But again, if they want to change sponsors, they have to cancel and wait 6 months. Okay. But when a coach account is reclassified, let's talk about some of the implications of that. When a coach account is reclassified in this situation, they're no longer able to sell Beachbody products. They can't enroll coaches or preferred customers. They can't earn commissions, and they lose their lifetime rank. Also, because preferred customers don't have the ability to sponsor other people, and existing sponsorships that person may have had when they were a coach will actually roll up to that person's sponsor, and that can't be undone. That's kind of a permanent change. And because preferred customers don't earn commissions or bonuses, any carryover volume that person had that they'd accumulated as a coach will also go away. Now, in the vast majority of situations, I really think that these changes that will happen to a person's account when they reclassify from a coach to a preferred customer will not be really a concern, because clearly that person has probably stopped actively coaching, and that's okay. Sometimes circumstances change, and some people maybe who had initially had an intention to coach find that it isn't for them, so that's fine. And even more good news, I guess, is that the preferred customer, as a preferred customer, they're still able to enjoy the same discount on products that they had when they were a coach. They still have early access to product launches and all those other cool perks that we've talked about. Their monthly business service fees that they paid as a coach will be automatically changed to their monthly membership fees as a preferred customer. They won't have to do anything to make that change. And they'll still have a meaningful place in our Beachbody community, in your own support community as well. They can still actively participate in groups and bod groups. They can still have all the same access to the workouts and nutrition programs on bod. All of that stuff stays the same for them. Their account just is different now. And for coaches who have a coach in their organization whose account gets reclassified to preferred customer, again, there's really minimum negative impact to your business, because they keep that same position in their binary structure. They can continue to count towards rank qualification as long as they're active, just like they did when they were a coach. All right. And one more last thing about reclassification, just a reminder, I mentioned this in a previous training, but again, here it's important to bring up as well. A coach can elect at any time. They don't have to wait till the evaluation months happen. They can reclassify their account to preferred customer at any time by going to the My Account section in their teambeachbody.com account, and then just changing that. It's really simple. And in fact, I would say that if you have people that enrolled as coaches but really are customers, I'd encourage you to help them reclassify their account as a preferred customer after everything launches in mid-May, just because it's going to be a better customer experience for them, and then they'll stop receiving coach-related communications from Team Beachbody. So I know that was a lot of information, a little bit longer training video this time, but want to make sure we covered it and hopefully answered any questions you might have. Again, refer to the FAQ if you have any additional questions. I'm sure there'll be more information there for you to be answered as well. So thank you so much, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
So what we got here is that every 6 months, they're going to be checked to see if they actually qualify for being a coach or if they have to be dropped into the preferred customer realm. One of the things that comes to my mind is I can see this being very, very stressful for those coaches who are on the struggle bus, which, let's face it, is most of them, because you're going to get an email 30 days before, then 7 days before, and that's going to put the pressure on to like, oh, I need to recruit someone. Oh, I need one of my preferred customers, sorry, got it wrong, preferred customers to buy something so that there's volume points. I think it's going to cause a lot of stress for people who are lower ranks or just coach versus someone who has a really large team. That's just kind of what comes to my mind. Now, what happens if they are moved from coach to being a preferred customer? And this does bother me a bit. They lose their lifetime rank. So let's just say you made it to the diamond. I mean, it means nothing in anything other than Beachbody. But now you're dropped to preferred customer. That means that you have to re-achieve that all over again. Because the way that lifetime ranks work is that you hit it once, that's your lifetime rank. You may not hold it because people leave. But now, if you are dropped to preferred customer, you got to start all over again if you want to build again. But then you have to meet the active requirements. Something else that bothers me is that at that time, anyone you have underneath you, whether they're active or not active or whatever is going on with them, they move to your upline, the person above you. And I think, again, that's going to help people who have large teams. It's not going to benefit people who are struggling. And what else they'll lose is the carryover volume. Now, I've talked about the way the volume works is you need 300 points. So anything that you have left over and you haven't hit that 300 points, those points will go to your upline. You don't get to carry it over anymore. It's gone. It's like you are really going back to square zero. So I can see this being problematic. They're pitching it as if it is going to be helpful for people. But if it were me and I was still a Beachbody coach and I heard this, I would be, freaking out. So I have a feeling that people are freaking out, but they don't want to show any of that publicly because you can't have any negativity.
Hey there, coaches. So in this training, we're going to cover some of the key compliance-related things for a preferred customer, including some of the exceptions that you'll need to be aware of. And there's only a couple, so should be pretty easy. Make sure you always check out the FAQ for the most up-to-date information, since I don't know when you'll be actually watching this video, and some updates may have happened, but the FAQ will always have the most up-to-date information. Now, the good news is if you watch the other preferred customer training videos, you've already know most of the compliance things that we want you to be aware of, but we want to create one training where we brought them all together into one place and also talked about a couple of ones we haven't mentioned already. So let's do a quick review of the ones that we've already talked about in the other videos. And in case you haven't watched other videos, now you can learn them here. First, preferred customers can upgrade to coach at any time as long as they're with the same sponsor. Second, preferred customers have to cancel and wait 6 months before they can re-enroll with a different sponsor, just like it is for coaches. Next, every 6 months from the coach's enrollment date, they must either enroll a new coach or preferred customer or have at least one purchase with volume made by one of their customers or preferred customers. This is called the minimum coach activity requirement, and if it isn't met, a coach's account will be reclassified as a preferred customer. That's a long one, but really important. Preferred customers have a position in a coach's binary organization structure. Active preferred customers count towards their sponsor's rank requirements. A preferred customer is considered active if they have generated 50 PV from their purchases during the previous 5 bonus weeks. Let's keep going here. Other ones we've already talked about. For Success Club points, purchases from preferred customers follow the same rules as purchases from coaches. So instead of listing all those rules out, just know that however it works for coaches in terms of generating Success Club points for their sponsor from their purchases, it works the same for preferred customers. For commissions and volume, preferred customer purchases are treated the same way that coach purchases are treated again. Okay, easy one to remember. Purchases made by preferred customers do not count towards their sponsor's PV, but purchases made by a preferred customer do count toward their sponsor's EV. And if you don't know what EV is, make sure you check out our training on earning volume, EV. Okay. Here's some more ones we've talked about already. If a coach reclassifies as a preferred customer, they lose their lifetime coach rank and any carryover volume they have. If a coach reclassifies as a preferred customer, they then and then upgrades back to a coach again later, they are considered a new coach for the Success Starter program. That's kind of a cool one. And if a coach reclassifies as a preferred customer and then upgrades back to a coach again later, if they were a preferred customer for at least 6 months, they're considered a new coach in terms of being able to generate leadership points for their sponsor in the Road to Elite program. All right. Now, let's talk about a couple ones we haven't mentioned, a couple things for compliance that we haven't mentioned yet. And first, and this is a really, really important one, preferred customer accounts must always be created by a real person who wants to purchase products from the coach. There may exist the temptation for coaches to try and create a preferred customer account on someone else's behalf to help them reach a rank or qualify for a bonus. This manipulation of our compensation plan is considered bonus buying and is strictly against policy, you guys. Coaches who are found to have participated in bonus buying, including abusing the preferred customer program, are subject to suspension and termination. So measures have been put in place to help us identify when this is happening with preferred customers, and steps will be taken by our compliance team to protect the integrity of the preferred customer program and prevent abuse. Now, I know I'm being very direct on this, very clear, but it's serious, so please don't ever engage in bonus buying, all right? And I know with preferred customer, it doesn't require a social security number. There might be that, just don't do it, just because you just don't want to mess with it, okay? Just don't do it, okay? All right, let's move on. Oh, there we go. Second, a coach cannot have both a coach account and a preferred customer account. So if you're a coach, you cannot enroll yourself as a preferred customer as well. You have to be one or the other. Now that's important because if you understand that, you'll understand some of the other questions that might come up if you have multiple business centers as a coach, all right? Third, if a preferred customer upgrades to coach within 31 days of their enrollment fee for their business starter kit is waived, okay? Which is cool. And fourth, for coaches with more than one business center, because each business center is considered a separate and independent business, each of your business centers must meet both the minimum activity requirement and any of your requirements on their own. All right, you guys view them as separate businesses. So qualifying in just your primary business center will not meet the requirements for any additional business centers that you've got. Each business center will receive individual notifications for the minimum coach activity requirement, and if one of your business centers doesn't meet the activity required, it will be canceled, okay? Since a coach can't, and why will it be canceled? Because a coach can't have both a preferred customer and a coach account. So if you have multiple business centers, you can't have one business center be reclassified to a PC because you're a coach. So it will be canceled. Now, in this case, if it does get canceled, the business center, if it does get canceled, then the rules still apply to, and as far as if you're qualified to reopen it again, you can be able to do that, okay? And there's that. All right. I know it's a lot of info, but they're just but we're almost done. But there are a few exceptions to the rules that we've talked about that I want to make sure you know, okay? First, coaches who enrolled with a military or nonprofit waiver, or in the North Dakota with the BSF waiver, will not be included in the automatic process to determine if the coach minimum activity requirement has been met, nor will they be included in the automatic reclassification process for not meeting those requirements. All right, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but basically just know that if you enroll with the military waiver or the nonprofit waiver or the North Dakota with BSF waiver, then you're not included in any of the minimum activity requirement processes or any of those reclassification processes that we've covered, okay? Second, if a coach has a lifetime rank of diamond or above, so listen up, if you have a lifetime rank of diamond or above, you are those coaches are ineligible to reclassify directly to a preferred customer. So if a coach is a lifetime diamond or above, they will need to cancel their coach account, which will actually remove them from their current position in the binary, and then re-enroll as a preferred customer, which will place you in a new spot in the binary based on the enrollment rules your sponsor has set up, okay? And you can do that right away. You can cancel your coach account and then re-enroll as a preferred customer right away if it's with the same sponsor, or wait 6 months and change sponsors if you want to. And this is just done, just so you know, this is just done to help remove some of the potential manipulation or abuse of the preferred customer program that we talked about a little bit earlier. And so coaches with a lifetime rank of diamond or above, that rule does apply to you, all right? So those really are the key things that you need to know from the compliance standpoint. If you have any questions, though, about any of those or anything like, oh, Kim, well, you didn't cover this, or what about this situation? The good news is you can reach out to our compliance team directly at compliance@beachbody.com, and they will gladly answer your questions. So thank you so much, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
First of all, can we please stop calling this knowledge dump nonsense training? It's not training. And the thing that came to my mind, and you probably don't know what this is, and I'll try to make it real simple, is you could easily use Gagne's 9 events of instruction. That's what I have used. You could even use like a lesson plan template to follow to see, are you doing those things, which include like usually anchoring new information to something that somebody already knows. And then you provide them like with the new information, you give them, you practice with them, you let them practice on their own, you give them feedback, and then you assess the situation. That's basically very, I kind of truncated everything. But they don't do that. This is just knowledge. That's it. And then you got to see if you can wrap your own head around it. Now, I did find some of this interesting about talking about the bonus buying, because that happens. And people are going to find a way, just like Jurassic Park, nature finds a way, coaches will find a way. They will find a way to jank up the system. And that might be that, they have their mother or their sister or somebody that they know, in a position. They'll do what they have to do to, keep what's valued by them. Something that I found very interesting and also very disturbing, because I think of someone who's a good friend of mine, that her lifetime rank was diamond. She wasn't able to hold diamond. And so she would not have been able to just reclassify. She would have to basically quit being a Beachbody coach, sign up again as a preferred customer. And I just see this, I see this becoming a sticking point for coaches. I don't see this as being something that's going to benefit everyone, which brings me to this. You know how there's that SPAC, and I can't remember what SPAC stands for, but you know how Beachbody has now joined with Mix, and there's something else because, that whole bike thing and all of that. I'm kind of wondering if, because of all of that, were they then forced to look at ways to try to prevent some of the janky stuff that happens within multi-level marketing? Are they trying to, in some ways, move away from what they've been doing for a long time? Just throwing it out there. Would like to know what you think.
As we get going here, though, I do want to call out that depending upon when you're watching this information might be a little out of date. So check out FAQ 3922 for the most up-to-date information, and also any additional information or details that maybe you don't understand. Chances are it can be cleared up there. So, all right, so let's keep going with a simple question here. Well, what is earning volume? That's a good place to start. Well, earning volume is a new volume measurement. Earning volume, or EV for short, measures all the personal volume, or PV, that is created from all your customer purchases. It really is that simple. So to get your EV, our system looks at all the purchases made by all your customers, including your preferred customers, and adds up all the PV from all of those orders, and that total is your EV for the day, week, or month, or however time frame you're looking at. EV will be introduced at the same time as the preferred customer program is launched in mid-May of 2021. Now, I want to get right to the most important point here. Why does EV matter? Well, it matters because starting on June 24th, 2021, a coach will need to have accumulated at least 50 EV points in the previous 5 bonus weeks in order to be eligible to earn the Team Cycle, Matching, and Star Diamond bonuses. So coaches will start accumulating EV and be able to see it in the coach office in May 2021 when this preferred customer program launches. And then 5 weeks later, we'll need to have accumulated at least that 50 EV in order to be eligible for the Team Cycle and Matching bonus from that bonus week. So that's why it's important that all of you know about that. Now, I want to call out here that EV is going to be an ongoing requirement, meaning that each week, starting with that June 24th date and then going after that, whenever our system goes to pay one of those bonuses that I talked about, in addition to looking at the current requirements like your rank and things like that, and active status, it also looks at the previous 5 bonus weeks to see if the coach has accumulated at least those 50 EV points to determine their eligibility for the bonus itself. Now, I'm going to say that, and I'm going to give everyone just a second here to take a deep breath. I know that can maybe sound a little bit scary to some of you, but it really doesn't need to be. Just remember that EV counts all of the PV from all of the purchases made by all of your customers, including preferred customers. And also recognize that 50 points in volume is not a super high requirement in a 5-week period especially. Simply having one customer using Shakeology each month or a couple buying Energize is going to fulfill this requirement. All right, so take a deep breath here and we'll keep walking through this, but I want to get right to the point at the beginning, and I recognize that can be a little bit abrupt, but I think it's important. So let's keep going here a little bit farther in detail here. Maybe you're wondering why we even have EV. I mean, isn't it complicated enough with PV and TV? Why do we have to have another V into the mix, right? Well, there's 3 things that I want you to consider. First, finding, helping, and supporting customers has always been and always will be at the core of who we are. And EV really gives a coach a simple way to track purchasing levels from their customers, which is something they haven't been able to do as easy before, okay? Second, the requiring of a minimum level of EV or that customer volume for participation in our bonuses, it helps ensure that all coaches who are participating in these bonuses are also contributing to the volume that creates these payouts through personal sales to customers. And this helps protect and preserve the value of these bonuses as we go forward. Okay, so it's really, really important. And third, it does align us as well with the current regulatory outlook and best practices, which is very important for us to be. Okay, so that's why we have it. Now, I want to talk just a second here about the introduction of EV, how it will be introduced and launched into the network, just to make sure that we're, again, I don't think it's complex, but I just want to make sure. So we're going to take some extra time here to talk through it to make sure everyone understands. Okay, so I'm going to go very, very step by step here. Coaches will start accruing EV with the launch of the Preferred Customer Program. Okay, that's mid-May, still mid-May 2021. So purchases made by customers prior to this time will not count towards a coach's EV because EV won't even exist at that point. Okay, coaches will begin to accrue EV once it launches with the Preferred Customer Program launch, and they'll be able to start seeing that EV accruing in their coach office. All right, now 5 weeks then after the Preferred Customer Program launches and coaches can start accruing EV will be the first time when a bonus week is paid, or when a bonus week ends, that the system will look back and see if a coach has accrued at least 50 EV in order to be eligible for the team cycle and matching bonuses. Then after that, each week going forward, as the system is set to pay those bonuses, it will look back at the previous 5 bonus weeks from the current point in that time to see the EV amount of the coaches accrued during the previous 5 bonus weeks to determine their eligibility. And you can kind of see how it just goes forward. It just becomes kind of part of the cadence of what we do. Now, I want to talk real quick about the Star Diamond bonus, because unlike the team cycle or the matching bonus, the Star Diamond bonus is a quarterly bonus. And so if you're wondering what that is, it's once you reach 2-star and above, there's some new bonus pools called the Star Diamond bonuses. You can look those up in the FAQ if you want. But it's a quarterly bonus. And so for those of you that are participating in that, I just want to make sure you understand how this will work. When the system is set to pay that bonus, it will still look at the previous 5 bonus weeks from that current time when it's set to pay the bonus to see if you've accrued at least those 50 EV to be eligible to earn that bonus. All right. And since EV launches in the middle of the second quarter, just so you know, there's no EV requirement for the Star Diamond bonus. That's to be paid for the second quarter. It will not start until the third quarter of 2021 as part of the introduction, just to make sure we're fair to everybody. Okay. Now, while we're very, very confident that most coaches will easily, especially coaches earning checks from us, will easily meet their EV requirement as they're actively working their business, what happens, we do need to talk about what happens if a coach doesn't meet that EV requirement. Let's just start real quick with the team cycle bonus. If a coach doesn't meet the EV requirement in a specific bonus week, the system will not process the volume for the team cycle bonus calculation for that week. And that volume will then simply just carry over to the next bonus week. So if a coach were to miss the EV requirement, they could still earn from that volume that didn't get processed once they had met the EV requirement again. Once then that volume would be paid. Okay, it's important to call out that this is the case. It's that just like it is with carryover volume, which kind of functions in a similar way, this volume is still subject to the master flush. So those of you that know what that is, if you don't, Again, faq.beachbody.com, search Master Flush, you'll find out. Or you can just talk to our coach relations team or to your upline. Okay, so that's the team cycle bonus. If I don't have EV for whatever reason, the volume doesn't get processed, it just kind of gets carried over to the next week. And then once I qualify and have the EV requirement again, I will then process that volume. For the matching and the star diamond bonuses, you would just miss out on those bonuses altogether. There's no way to recoup those bonuses. But I do want to call out that once you've met the EV requirement again, you're then immediately eligible to start earning those bonuses. But you wouldn't earn any bonus. You wouldn't be able to recoup or re-earn those bonuses that you missed out when you didn't qualify when it comes to those two bonuses. Okay. I do want to also call out real quick that there will be several places in the coach office reports that will show EV information. The volume report has been updated to show you your own EV, and reports like the sponsorship drill down and personally sponsored coaches and for customers report is going to show you the EV for your coaches. And so you'll be able to see it, and it shouldn't be any surprise to you how your EV is doing in each bonus week. So hopefully that answers all of your questions about EV. If you do have coaches still or questions still, talk to your coach, talk to your upline coach, Star Diamond coach, reach out to the coach relations team, whatever happens to be, and ask those questions. And we'll be happy to get those answered for you as soon as possible. So thank you so much for all you do, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.
Exodus, movement of the people. Are you a Bob Marley fan? Because this is what's going on through my head is I'm thinking that there's going to be some Beachbody coaches very upset over this entire thing. And I can't say I blame them. You know, I mean, things have been going along for a while. You did it a particular way. And now all of a sudden you're having this EV pressure added to the already enough pressure to try to get people to buy the Beachbody products and everything, and to get coaches to stay and everybody to be active. Now you've got to worry about the EV, because people who are 2-star and above, if they happen to slip and they fall down, you know, in their ranking, they're going to miss out on that bonus for that quarter. Done. Period. You can't recoup that. It's okay. Like, you know, team cycle, you can miss that for a week and you can, you know, recoup that. But I think that is still very hard. I cannot imagine coaches being very happy about this. And I really feel like, especially when this kicks into gear, we will see a flurry of people moving on to other things. I'm kind of wondering if people are talking about it in the little group chats and everything right now, because I know I sure would have been if I was still a Beachbody coach and all of a sudden this came out too. But I really do think it might be in relation or because of that whole, you know, with the whole mix and whatever the other thing is, which I can't, Forrest something, I can't remember what it is. Sorry. I don't know. He did bring up something, and that was the personal sales and he did bring up something I think is very important, and that's the whole regulatory outlook. And that's what I started this whole little, you know, video about. Is it makes me think that they're adding in preferred customer so that they have the illusion that they have these retail customers, so that they are in compliance with, you know, what the FTC says. But coaches, like I've said before, they will find a way, just like Jurassic Park with Nature Finds a Way. Coaches will find a way. But if they have so many different layers on them, I think people are going to look for something else. Because if you are really, really choking out stuff so that they're not going to be able to make the money, and I'm thinking of who was my original coach, I don't think she would have been down for this. I think she would have been looking for, like, what is new, what is coming out, and can I jump over there and make some money and bring my team with me, which you're not supposed to do, but people do it all the time. So let me know your thoughts and opinions about all of this. If you were a Beachbody coach, what do you think? How would you feel if you heard all of this if you were still a coach? Would you be like, no big deal? Or would you think, man, this is going to hurt me, or man, you're making it a lot harder on me? Let me know your thoughts and opinions, and remember, you're beautiful and I love you.